All right, so today we are going to talk about how to sketch fast and some habits that you can use when you're sketching that are good to get into to help improve your drawing. I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera over so you can see the paper that I'm going to draw on. Like that. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my paper. So what I'm going to start off with today is the posture that you draw with. A lot of times when we write with our wrist, right? You know, we keep it close in with our wrist like that. When we draw, we don't want to draw from our wrist. We want to draw more from our elbow and more from our shoulder so our wrist stays in the same place. So I'm going to do some practice circles. If you want to do some practice circles with me, and look at your wrist and try to keep your wrist straight. It's going to feel really awkward at first. I'm just going to put down a scribbly circle. But I'm keeping my wrist straight and I'm focusing on just moving my shoulder. So that's the drawing. I'm going to do sketchy. Right. I just realized that's reversed. So what we're doing with this is when we draw from our shoulder, we keep it more loose. This is tighter and more for detail. Drawing from our shoulder, it's broader and sketchier. And you also don't hurt your wrist as much when you focus on that.
What does sketchier mean?
So do you see on this circle here? And especially this circle here?
Yeah.
So it's kind of scribbly, right? I didn't just draw one circle, I drew a couple circles. That's what we mean by sketchy. So a lot of times with new artists, they'll draw really, really small and they'll use their wrist the whole time. I don't know what I'm drawing, maybe I'm drawing a cat. Right? They'll draw really small and really slow like that and really tiny. And that ends up hurting your wrist. What we want to do, especially when we start out drawing, tip 1, draw from your shoulder. Don't draw from your wrist. Tip 2, draw a little bit bigger.
Naylene, often I draw a little bit too big.
Yeah, you don't want to draw so big that you're taking up the whole page every time. But compared to the little cat, that I drew, right? I want to draw a little bit of a bigger, give myself a little bit more space. You actually end up drawing faster because what's happening here is I'm only concerned with detail stuff. I want to pull back and look at the bigger shapes and draw those. The third step I've kind of been doing, but you want to get in the habit of drawing light. You see with this one also, when I draw with my wrist, I draw really, really dark. When I draw with my shoulder, you draw much lighter. So you're not stuck on the first line that you make. You can change stuff. It's a lot easier to erase if you need to erase.
Yeah.
And move things around.
I just found that out right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna, all these stuff kind of tie in together. So drawing from your shoulder makes you draw bigger and it makes you draw lighter, which helps you out with erasing. It helps you out with seeing what you're drawing. And then you don't worry about getting all the details in till later. And then the last tip I have, I don't know if you noticed, but when I draw, I don't keep the paper completely stationary the whole time. I actually turn the page. And there's no like hard or fast rules about when to do this and when not to do this. I just kind of go with what feels right.
Yeah, like whenever you need to, you just do it the way you think you should. There's no rules on when to do it and when not to do it.
That's right. But I'm just gonna, whenever I feel like I need to, I just rotate the page where I think it'll let me draw that line better. I'm gonna sketch that in. So here's what that cat is turning into, little cat sketch. So nothing's tied down, nothing is set in stone. It's just a quick little sketch. And I got to where I can do this pretty fast. And when you draw a lot faster and a lot sketchier, you're not attached to your drawings, you end up drawing better drawings because you end up drawing more. You end up kind of experimenting. So we're
What do
gonna
you mean? What do you mean get attached to your drawings?
So like when the first thing you draw and then you're done, right? You don't do anything to try to make it better. That's what I mean. So we're gonna start by doing just some warm-up exercises to get us used to drawing with our shoulders. So we're gonna start by drawing circles. And again, try not to use your wrist and draw dark, perfect circles. Like I just do that in one go. Try to keep your wrist still. I usually do this action a couple of times, and then I put my pencil down. So that one's much lighter, and it's a lot sketchier looking. I'm gonna pull it back so it's in the light more. Hopefully you guys can see my blue pencil. I'm not used to drawing with graphite pencils. These are Prismacolor Color Erase pencils, so they actually erase. They're kind of cool. So I'm going to start. Cool, cool. Okay. So I'm just going to draw the same circle across my page. And I'm not worried if the circle looks all that good. I just want kind of a round feeling going across the page one after the other. Now I'm going to start with a small circle. I'll probably use my wrist. When I do detail drawings, then I use my wrist more. And then I'm going to try to make each circle after that a little bit bigger than the last one. I've got some circles touching, but that's okay. Let's see if I can go even bigger than this one. Go around and around. And then I finally put my pencil down. All right, so none of these are perfect circles. They're very sketchy circles. So next we're going to draw light to dark and then dark to light. So we're going to experiment with pressure. You put more pressure down on your page, and then you get a darker circle. So I'm going to start light, a little bit darker, a little bit darker, more pressure, more pressure. See the darkest circle I can make on this paper. So you're sort of my range of light to dark. I'll do one with pencil. Let's see if that looks any different.
Naylene, your page is a little off camera on the left side. There you go. Thanks.
So I actually kind of got a slightly better range off of the blue. It's hard to see on the camera though. So I'm going to draw the darkest circle, darkest, heaviest circle I can. I'm even go over it a couple times. And then I'm going to go to make the lightest circle I possibly can. So I'm getting nice and light. I'm like barely touching the paper on this one. That's my lightest circle and then my darkest circle. If you're border circles, there's no reason you have to do circles because I'm doing them. You can also do whatever shape you feel like. Notice when I'm drawing my squares, I don't just draw one line. I'm kind of just sketching out a bunch. And I'm like moving my paper with my fingers, my pencil, excuse me, my pencil with my fingers, like that. This is another good one. You can even turn the paper if that helps you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What about using lines? How do you draw lines with your wrist?
We're going to do lines next.
Okay.
So I almost filled up the paper. These are my warm-ups. Sketchy circles, some dark ones, dark to light.
My warm-ups are usually just like, I just draw something random, really sketchy and big. That's my go for.
Yeah, everyone has their own little habits when they warm up. Okay. So lines, it's the same idea. I don't want to just draw tight lines all the time like that. What I want to experiment with now is going from light lines, then to dark, then to light, then to dark. It's kind of like a skill that comes over time. So you guys see it. So it's one line. I didn't pick up my pencil. It's not straight, but that's okay. You use rulers if you want a straight line. But the idea is I have it so light you can barely see it, and then it goes as dark as I can make it, and then back to light again without picking up my pencil. And what that creates is a variance of lying weight. And if you get used to mastering that, where you can kind of do that at will, it breathes life into your drawings. You can decide where you want a really thin line or where you want a really thick line. And you don't even have to think about it. You just kind of do it. That's what this exercise is. So you can go horizontal or you can go vertical. I'll try going vertical on this one. And then just like with the circles, I'm going to try not to use my wrist too much. I want to do it solely with the amount of pressure I'm putting down with my fingers on the pencil. So I'm going to start thin as I can go, and then I'm just going to push down thick, thin, thick, light, dark, light, dark. Oh, you guys can't see that at the end there. I'll do one in the middle. Light, dark, light, dark. I'm just dragging with my shoulder down the paper. I'm not using my wrist very much. It's going to feel weird if you've never done it before, because you guys are probably more used to writing. And that's all wrist when you write. I'm going to do some going the other way. Light, dark. What? Did you have a question?
No, I wanted to share a comment. I have my own kind of technique. What I do for shading, if anyone likes shading and all that stuff, what I do is it's kind of like I highlight the pencil. I turn the pencil completely sideways and I just use it like a crayon completely. The tip, I press it down a little bit and then I just go flat out.
Yeah, that's another good technique too. You can use different parts of the pencils for different things. So like she said, the side of the pencil is good for shading. And use the point of the pencil if you want like fine lines or fine details.
And when I want to go like really light and really dark, what I do is I just like press my pencil a little bit harder than usual. And when at parts that I really want to go light, I kind of gently use the eraser to give it like a highlight on that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another thing you can do is kind of the next bit. I'm just going to draw a quick box. And then I'm just going to do hatch marks over the box. So all I'm doing is just putting my pencil down and then like flicking it to make a little line. I'm going to start kind of light. And move in so it's darker, dark. I'm not filling up the whole square, but that's okay. And then back to light again. So that one, I kind of lock my elbow so that all the lines stay parallel. They're all going the same direction. And then I just vary the pressure that I'm putting down with my pencil to get some lines light and then some lines dark. All right, I'm gonna do some squiggles. So draw a fast kind of squiggly thing and vary up the lightness and the darkness. So you see here, it starts out kind of light and then a little bit dark and then very light right here. And then dark, a little bit light, a little bit dark. And then what I do for the rest of the warm up is I try to, wherever I see light, I'll try to draw darker. And then wherever it's darker, I try to lift up my pencil so it's lighter. So I'm gonna go dark, a little bit light, dark, a little light. Along that curve. And don't spend a whole lot of time on these. Again, the idea is it's going to take some practice, but then it becomes second nature. So you can get these in pretty fast. I messed up on that one, but that's okay. So I have these crazy wobbly lines. Sometimes they look kind of cool because they're like waves if they alternate in the same spot. It gets a cool little effect. Okay. Are there any other questions before we move on to objects?
So I drew this sketch of a circle of a guy.
Very cool. So did you notice if you used your shoulder, if you used your wrist when you're drawing?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
drew with the circle for the head.
Uh-huh. Yeah, usually you start lighter in the beginning when you sketch. And then you move on and get kind of darker and darker as you go along. Get a little more heavy-handed. Okay. So when we start our sketch, again, we want to start light and sketchy, and we want to draw the whole shape of what we're seeing, not just little bits at a time. So I'm going to show you guys, I have this, I can't hold it out so you can see the whole way, but I have this water bottle. I'm just going to sketch out the water bottle real quick. And what I do for that is the main shape that I see is a cylinder. So I just draw a big cylinder, really light, up and down my page. Like that. I'll draw it darker so you guys can see it, even though I wouldn't normally draw it darker. Right. So I don't just draw the outside lines. I draw the whole shape of what I see. Sometimes I'll do a line down the center if I want both sides to be equal, and it kind of helps me compare one side to the other side. And then from there, I'll go in, I'll add the top because I know it wraps around the same cylinder. And then there's a little handle up here that kind of looks like a triangle with a flat end on top. And then there's another cylinder sticking out here. So I'm just adding on more and more shapes to this object that I'm doing. But that didn't take me very much time at all to get down. I got the whole thing down in some form really, really fast. And if I wanted to, I could go back later if this had a bunch of crazy like detail, like design details on it or whatever. I'm just doodling. You know, whatever it had on it, I could always go back and add that and put in more of the like refined details on it. But since I got the main shape down really, really fast, it's a lot easier to go back and edit and then make some things darker, some things lighter. So what I want you guys to do in the next couple minutes, find an object in the room that you're in that you want to draw. Don't make it too simple. Like this is just a cylinder with some holes in it. Don't go too crazy either. I'm going to draw this thing because it's got a bunch of points and a bunch of these little cutouts.
I'm one step ahead of you, Naylene. I've already started.
You've already started? Well, we're going to time you. So get more than one piece of paper because we're going to do it a couple times. And try to get faster.
I have a whole sketchbook ready. And
yeah, you guys got sketchbooks that are all set because then you can just go to the next page in your sketchbook. I'm probably going to end up using the back of some of these. Yeah, whatever you think you can draw in like 5 minutes. Pick something that you can look at and draw fairly quickly. And make it an object, not somebody else's drawing, something that you can like physically see. So not too simple, but not too complicated either.
Next thing I thought you were gonna say is don't make it too much of both.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, don't get something too complicated, you know, and then people come up with just like this, you know, and they only draw the outside. So it's like, don't make it too simple either. Do something that will give you a little bit of time to work on. Okay. Let me switch this so I can see your cameras. All right, does everybody have an object that they want to draw? Raise your hand if you still need more time. Got some thumbs ups. Very cool. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to time you guys. So we're going to start with 5 minutes. And then when I say pencils down, just stop wherever you are at. On your mark, get set, go. And just worry about getting the main shape in there. I have an eraser here, but I'm not really erasing. I just sort of keep going. That's one of the benefits of drawing light. You can just keep going. You don't have to erase that much. And then if I go back and refine it later, then I can go and erase and fix things. But I'm not really worried about that right now. I'm just kind of sketching. I have kind of the boundaries of this box thing, and the rest is just detail. So once you've got the general shape down, you know, then you can focus on drawing the details. There's a little circle here. This like teardrop shape here. Really weird. I can draw a star better from one view than another view. I'm just going to turn my page.
How much more minutes?
Just keep drawing. Don't worry about the time. I'll tell you guys when the time is done. If you think you've got your object pretty solidly, try looking at the shadows on it, give it some shading, or maybe the surface that you have it on. Sometimes drawings feel more solid if you actually put it onto a table, draw the table. Just some slight indication of where it's sitting. All right, pencils down. All right, how did that feel? Was it easy? Was it stressful for you guys to be timed? I know some of you probably aren't used to being timed.
Probably okay.
It was okay? All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write 5 minutes on mine. That's how long we spent. All right, so the next one, we're going to do less time. Do you guys think 2 minutes? Or do you want to try 1 minute?
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay. So this next one's going to be 2 minutes. If you have enough room on your paper, you can go ahead and use the same paper. I'm just going to turn mine over so I have a fresh piece of paper. All right, same object, new drawing, 2 minutes, ready, set, go. Now this is going to be harder because it's less time, but you also have experience. You've drawn this object before, so you kind of know what parts it has.
I'm going to make it a challenge on myself. I'm drawing something different instead.
Well, if you draw something different, then you won't be able to compare. So I recommend drawing the same thing.
Okay. I'm just trying this one because the other drawing was really bad.
No, you got to keep going. This is about practicing how we draw to make our drawings better. Because the first time you draw something, it's always going to be a little bit weird because you haven't drawn it before yet. We draw things several times and our drawings get better. I am being too close in with this. All right, pencils down. So you probably didn't get as far with the details on this one, but hopefully the overall shape is more solid than the last one. So you kind of know what you're doing a little bit more. All right. I'm going to use the back of one of my papers on this next one. All right, what do we think? Can we do 1 minute, or are you guys ready for 30 seconds?
I go.
30 seconds. All right, one vote for 30 seconds.
No, 2 votes. One was in the
2
chat
votes?
and just
Perfect.
me.
All right, 30 seconds are on the clock. On your mark, get set, go. So this one, you're probably only just going to get down the basic shape. That's okay. Just got to keep going until the time runs out. Oh, I was like wondering why that's so long. It's because it didn't go. All right, pencils down. Sorry about that. The alarm didn't go. Oh, I forgot to write down. 2 minutes. Then 30 seconds. All right. I'm going to show my 5-minute one and then my 30-second one.
Weird, but I actually did better on the 30-second one than the 2-minute one.
Right? Isn't that crazy? Okay, do we want to go around and share our sketches
Sure.
for a little bit? Yeah, so if you are ready to share
I do.
your progress, 5 minutes to 2 minutes to 30, go ahead and raise your hand or sound off in the chat. Scott can help me order you
Nathaniel's
guys.
hand first. I'm going to spotlight Nathaniel.
Cool, cool. All right, Nathaniel, how'd it go?
So I did this one on my water bottle.
Very nice. Yeah, that's a complicated
It's
looking
on a
water
cork.
bottle.
It's on a cork. And this is my pencil sharpener.
Very nice.
And this is a pen and an eraser.
So did you do a different one every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that's it
That's it? All right.
for now.
Here's Liliana and Heather Rose.
Cool.
Well, here's my 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Very nice. Yeah, your 30-second one is, I think, the solidest one. That turned out awesome. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very nice. So what did you draw? The
No, this in here, this circle, I did all this in 5 minutes.
uh-huh.
This was the 2 minutes. This was 30 seconds.
Okay, so you did a couple things.
Yeah.
Very nice. Was it easier when you got up to the 30 seconds or was it getting harder?
I don't know.
Okay, who
I
do we
think
have
2
that
minutes
was
is the easiest one.
the minute one was the easiest one? So who do we have that was gonna go next?
Oh, here's Kat.
Hi, Kat.
Well, here's mine. And hold on. Here's mine. This is the object I was using.
Oh, cute. I love how you broke it down. So which one is, I see the one on the right is 2 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And was the top one the 5-minute one?
Uh-huh.
And the bottom was the 30-second one?
Mm-hmm.
You did a great job on the 30-second one. I think that's the has the correct proportion of the thing. Yeah, you did a great job.
Thanks.
Excellent, Kat. All right, who do we have that's going to go next?
Why, I can go.
Awesome. So is this a computer mouse? It looks like. I know she's muted.
Yeah, it's my computer mouse.
Uh-huh.
So here was the 2-minute one.
Uh-huh.
And surprisingly, I actually did better on
Yeah.
this one than the other one.
Because you've drawn it like 3 times already, so you kind of know how it goes.
Not actually. I drew this at the first one.
Oh, okay. So you've drawn it twice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
I only
a
drew
pot?
it twice because that's actually pretty easy. Yeah, that's a pot. It didn't turn out as expected though.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's all my drawings.
All right, cool.
And I had a lot more from warm up, but I can show that later.
That's okay. All right, do we have anybody who wanted to go next?
Don't see any more hands.
Okay.
I wanted to see people's drawings.
Yeah. Don't feel bad about showing your drawings, especially if they're not done, because we all drew sketchiness today. Today was all about sketchiness and then drawing unfinished things and drawing them fast.
Sketchiness is a fun word to say.
Right?
Sketchiness.
Yeah, I like saying that too. Did we have any questions about anything that we went over? Lines or anything like that? Does anyone want to share other sketches that they've been doing? Anything from their sketchbook?
Here's Tater Tot.
Hey, Tater Tot.
So, because I'm a Star Wars nerd and my favorite series in Star Wars is Clone Wars, I've been working on a big thing with a bunch of the clones.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that you draw them all in different positions.
Yeah. So far, I got Rex, Kix, Jesse, Chopper, Cody,
I like it, Tater Tot.
Vibes, and Echo. Thank you. So, yeah.
Good job.
Very cool. Did anyone have any other things they wanted to share?
Just a quick question. At the top of my bar, I see something like you cam 4, and the name is user. Who's that?
I don't know.
Well, that's kind of weird why it's there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just someone's didn't put in a username yet. Okay. Well, for Scott, do you know if we have next month's camp up yet, or is that still
What camp?
I'm not sure if that's up yet.
okay? I'll talk about it. So preview for last month we did a camp all about comic books.
Yeah.
And we did a bunch of comic book classes, and then for the camp we wrote a comic book in a week. I want to switch back cameras.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's on the website yet.
Okay. Let me switch back. So this month, for the month of October, we are going to be doing an Inktober theme. So all of our Chuck Jones in Our Homes classes are going to be based off of ink. We're going to follow the Inktober prompts. So if you guys want to participate with Inktober along with us, definitely tune into that. And then we are also going to have a camp for that one.
Find it.
Inktober?
Yeah.
So just Google search Inktober and you'll 2020, and you can find the prompt list real easy. I think Instagram is usually all over Instagram. The Inktober prompts. If you guys want to
Will
take a
you
look
send
at
us an
those.
email?
So it's gonna be up online. We're not gonna send you an email. But if you guys want to sign up, the last week of October, we are gonna have another camp. So the first 3 weeks are gonna be just for free for anybody. And then the last one is gonna be a paid camp where we all collaborate on a project together.
So what's it called again?
Inktober.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to take a look, Inktober starts October 1st. We aren't going to be doing it every day. It's like 4 times a week, I think. And then the camp week. But it's generally a good idea to get into the practice. Inktober is always a fun way to practice inking. They'll give you a new prompt every day, and it's up to you to kind of brainstorm what you want to draw based on that prompt, and then ink it. And you can ink it with whatever you want, whatever you have. If you want to experiment with different things, it's also a fun time to experiment with different tools and different techniques and things like that.
Scott, you're gonna love the first day of October.
What's the first day of October?
A lot of Scotta Day.
Oh, Saturday. Yeah. I was like, does that have to do with the prompt? Yeah, Saturday is going to be fun, huh?
Gonna be a lot of fun for Scott.
I'm gonna try to make it. I told Ben I would try, but
Yeah.
no promises.
You can't try, Scott.
You're not gonna. You maybe won't show up to your own Saturday.
There is no try.
Maybe.
There's do.
You can't try, Scott. You have to come.
Like Yoda said, there is no try.
Yeah, just like Yoda.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question about what you can do for Inktober. Lilian Heather Rose asked if can I do Inktober all Disney? That's up to you. They give you prompts. Let me find the prompt list. The prompts are just to give you ideas.
The prompts are at inktober.com/rules. So the rules and the prompts are right there.
Yeah. Let me find. They have a nice little how to ink thing. That's cool.
Yes, the words. Those are
So
all
the prompt list
There it is.
is just a list of words like that. So Like day 1 is fish. So whatever you can think of having something to do with fish. If you want that to be Disney related, that could be cool too. I know some people will keep it to the same character and they'll do prompts based off, and they'll have just an illustration with that character in it somewhere. Some people try to make theirs a whole story. So you
That
can
would
go ahead
be
and look at
cool,
that,
though,
see if
to-
any ideas.
That'd be cool to have like a Disney theme for all of the prompts.
That would
Try
be
to
cool. That would be cool.
make, Disney out of
Yeah, because you could probably come up with something.
But this is Chuck Jones. This is not Disney class.
Well, that's
but
up,
someone in the
that's up to
chat-
you. That's up to you.
Someone in the chat suggested that.
Yeah. If you want to do all Chuck Jones characters, you could get away with doing that too. You could do all Chuck Jones characters.
What is the paid camp going to be about?
So it's going to be kind of like the comic book camp where we all collaborate on one big thing. But it's all centered around inking. So it's going to be like an illustration collage that we all make together. So if you want to do that, that is going to be the last week. We'll also have other classes before that too. If you guys haven't
Monsters pretty
tried, if you haven't tried inking with like a little ink pot and a pen, or if you haven't tried like paint inking, you can try that too. So you don't have to just you can use ballpoint pens and stuff if you want to, but it's also good to experiment too. If you ever want to try getting other pens. I have like little brush pens. Uncap this. So there's ink in here and it's kind of messy, so I'm not going to break it out just yet. But there's a brush at the end of it. So it kind of works like a paintbrush, but for ink. So I want to get into some of that stuff too, because there's a lot of things you can do with ink. I have Sharpies in here. I have all sorts of stuff in here. This is another ink brush pen. So you see the tip of it? It's very, very soft. So it makes really like soft lines. Like that. And you can also fill in things pretty easy. So if you ever wanted to try using different methods for inking, Inktober is a great time to do that. So it's not up on our website yet, but it's going to be up very, very soon because that starts next week. Yeah, so if someone's saying they're going to do monsters for each prompt, that's cool too. Like whatever you're into. You guys are all into different stuff. You could even draw yourself for it, but in different ways. Like the first one's fish, so it could be like scuba diving or something. Whatever you can think of. Do we have any other questions on anything we talked about? Turn the chat off. There we go. Okay. Well, I know we're a little early, but if nobody has any questions, that's all I wanted to get out. So if we want to go ahead and sign off.
Can I share first, please?
Oh, sure. Do someone want to share? Hey, Kat.
So while you were talking, I was doing, these are all 30 seconds. I did more figures.
Nice. Do they feel like they're getting easier every time you draw it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Mirror image is hard to work. I'm trying to get my full paper and frame.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes it can get frustrating to draw something, but it's just because you never drawn it before. So you just have to draw it a couple times. Did anybody else want to share last minute before we sign off?
I'd like to show my teddy bear picture that I drew.
Okay. Okay, here's, is that Nathaniel?
Yes, that's me.
I just realized you have Halloween decorations up, it looks like. That's awesome. Is this a teddy bear that you have, or is this one you made up? Oh, okay, there it is. That's a really solid drawing.
Yeah. I'm really improving on my drawings, like my human drawings and my realistic drawings.
Uh-huh, because you're doing it all the time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can always tell when someone draws all the time. Anybody else want to share? Okay, cool. All right, so we can go ahead and sign off, and then I will see you guys next week when we start inking stuff. That's gonna be fun.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Mm,
Bye.
you.
Bye, Terata. Bye,
Bye.
Nathaniel. Bye, Kat. Bye, Scott.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.